everyone. Welcome to Squadindy Talk. Squadindy Talk is a regular online thematic discussion inviting current and past Squadindy peers, highlighting topics that are relevant to Australia and Indonesia space, delivered in a very casual, informative, and engaging manner. So this is the third episode of the Squadindy Talk, and today's discussion will highlight the spirit of volunteering. So we chose this topic as it is highly relevant today to commemorate the International Volunteer Day, annually held on today, 5 December. So International Volunteer Day presents an opportunity for individual volunteers, communities, organizations to promote and celebrate their work and contributions to partnerships and development at the local, national, international levels. And this international observance has been mandated by the United Nations General Assembly since 1985. So it is relevant to us in CAUSINDY, all of us Squadindy, because naturally we are a volunteering organization, specializes in fostering active bilateral discussions and people-to-people links between Indonesian and Australian young professionals and emerging leaders. So this is as I said, this is the third Squadindy Talk, unlike the first two, which invited the current Squadindy team. Today, we are very happy to be having our 4 former Squadindy members joining us in the talk. So these are the people who are contributed to the organization's works for many years, including holding many annual conferences. In short, some of the people who are responsible for establishing CAUSINDY as a prominent volunteering organization as it is today. So today's discussion will cover 2 main topics. The first is the panelists' thoughts on the spirit of volunteering and what benefits are to them, and as well as a reflection of their Squadindy-ship and their experience volunteering in the organization, and to what extent has the experience brought values to their professional and personal lives. So let me introduce myself. My name is Rio Afifuddin. All of those description that I haven't introduced myself. My name is Rio Afifuddin. I am one of the directors at CAUSINDY, one of the board members of CAUSINDY. So I'm going to be allowing them to have the opportunity to introduce themselves, possibly enter your name. From what year that you were part of the Squadindy, and as well as the last held position in the organization. I think that I'm just going to be pointing out the first panelist. How about Mr. Tim Graham?
Hi, I'm Tim. I was a part of CAUSINDY from 2013, our first conference, until last year, and I was a CEO for a couple of years and a member of the board as well.
All right. You can for the next panelist, I guess. Tim. You can choose.
I picked Mala.
Oh, thanks, team. So it's Mala here. So I think I first joined CAUSINDY 2017 back in Melbourne. That was the first time, and I think, and then I continue to volunteer with CAUSINDY 2017 and 2018 in the recruitment team, and then the last was 2020, and it was the Delegates Lead. That's basically 3 period of volunteering with the CAUSINDY. So I guess we have Jay next for the introduction.
Thank you, Mala. Wow, I feel like I've been with CAUSINDY for half of my life, but it's been 5 years when I actually count. I think from around 2017, and I had the privilege of being led by Tim. That shows our age, and eventually was privileged also to share the board position and the CEO position with so many great people. So I've just finished up my tenure with CAUSINDY just very recently this year.
So thank you, Jay. So go straight into the discussion. I think that we're going to be having 5 questions today. The first one is a very general, very broad one. It's what does volunteering personally mean to you? Any one of you may start with this particular question. So, but in my personal opinion about volunteering is something that is fulfilling, quote unquote, the heart. What I mean fulfilling the heart is that many of our regular work is for the purpose of our personal lives, and then volunteering is for something that is more more for the community, more for the people, not necessarily requiring any kind of materials in return to us. But at the end of the day, once we are volunteering, there is some some good that we feel in the heart, I guess. So that's why that it is something that is worth a try for all of us.
Okay, I'll go in. So before I start, so it's just, what does volunteering mean to us? Is that right, Rio? Yeah, cool.
Yes.
I think for me, volunteering has two main parts to it in terms of the purpose and why I do it. And I think foremost is contributing to a cause that is close to your heart and you think has a positive impact on society at large. And I think that is definitely representative of what we've done at CAUSINDY, having been there for 5 years and witnessed the relationships that we have facilitated along that journey, alongside some initiatives. I think we have achieved that. That's the first point. The second side of the coin that I look at is from a personal development perspective. I think volunteering provides us all an opportunity to take on roles and responsibilities that maybe we can't get in our paid jobs. I know that is relevant for my industry, which is the consulting industry. It takes quite a while until you're able to lead a large team, like what we can do at CAUSINDY, phone to ministers and dealing directly with the Embassy of Jakarta, the Consul General. Those type of things are never opportunities that I would personally get in the early years in my career. So looking at it from, yes, a community perspective and what we give back, and that's so important. Yeah.
That's very insightful. That is a very insightful comment. Thank you so much for that, Jay. So there are two main points, with regards to how volunteering personally means to you. Go to straight out of team of Mala.
So if Tim not mine, I can go after. Okay, so for me, I think I shared the view of Jay. For me, it may sound cliche, but I really meant it, that for me, it's about passion and interest, because it's all related for my personal and professional aspirations. Because, ever since senior high school, I've always been wanting to be working in for social community. So it's I've dreamed to be working in the NGOs, let's say, for the great causes. And I think doing this volunteering is really giving me a chance to really deliver all my passions, and that's really aligned with my professional career. So that's the reason why I've been all of my background is working for the development sectors and humanitarian sectors. Now that I did that for my professional, so I also would like to have it in my personal development. So that's why I do the volunteer. And one thing that I also realized, I think it's kind of arranged for me. I did it intentionally, because at that time it was really a stressful moment. So volunteer is also one of the stress reliever for me, because it helps me to distract my mind, not to think about something that I shouldn't think. And because then, it's just have me occupied with the good words rather than thinking about something that I shouldn't have. And then not only about the passion and interest, and I find it really interesting for volunteering, especially from CAUSINDY, that it's about friendship and network that I get from CAUSINDY. I think that's from my personal experiences.
Yeah, thank you, Mala. So that's a really good input as well. That the spirit of volunteering as well, contributing to a good mental health in a sense. Yeah. So I mean, like just to feel in the heart with regards to feel the not only feel the time, but as well as that it's dedicating the time to to be more to be more aware for the community as well, and as well as feel the mental health. So I think go to Pak Tim.
I think I guess my answer to this would touch on all of the same things that you guys have mentioned. Like there's it's like Jay said, there are two sides of it. There's the altruistic aspect. I'm a big believer in putting your money, or in this case your time, where your mouth is, and seeing that the bilateral relationship was something I cared about, and getting Australians closer to Indonesia, then this was a great way to do that. So it's a cause that I really believe in. At the same time, I've also benefited a lot personally from it. It was really fantastic to be part of a bigger thing. And I think it's really fitting that we're discussing this with a group of Squadindy members, because I think the team was a big part of what made it such a great experience. But like Jay said, there's so many other experiences that that you get to expose yourself to, running a small organization, having a budget, negotiating with partners, and handling all of the logistical things, and then 100 other things that will come up in the course of the year when you're organizing a conference like CAUSINDY that are completely unexpected, but no less challenging. So yeah, I think personally, I think it was really valuable, and I think it was great to feel like I was making a contribution. But I think I draw on the experiences that I had running the conference and working on the conference every day in other parts of my life as well.
Thank you for that, Tim. Yeah, it is something that is the spirit of volunteering as well. Has to affect both our professional as well as personal lives, contributing to our personal lives as well, because there is the natural of volunteering is that you're not going to get paid in a sense. So with the fact that it is not paid, I think that it is something that may attract people who are still in the in university. Naturally that they have quote unquote lots of time to self-develop, but when we go into the spectrum of CAUSINDY, most of the people that are volunteering in CAUSINDY, they are who already have steady jobs, I guess. So how do you reckon that the fact that it is unpaid contributing to put CAUSINDY as a part of your professional, as a part of the plate, I guess, in your professional and professional lives? Was that also a factor, or you just concentrate on the altruistic side of it? Anyone? I
think it was both. I think I got into it for good reasons, but I stayed because I was benefiting in other ways. Maybe that's one way of thinking about it. I think you kind of touched on a point, which is that especially once you leave university and you go into a full-time career, you don't have as much time to devote to these things. So you tend to focus on the stuff that where you think you can have the most impact, or where you're learning the most. So I guess if I had a piece of higher level advice to people when we're thinking about volunteering, it's that it is important to work on something that you really believe in and that you feel passionate about, because otherwise you're going to struggle to stay committed to it. You want to know exactly why you're doing it.
I can jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when it comes to unpaid, I just quoted some articles, informations that I read, that volunteer is unpaid because they are priceless. So there is no price for them. So maybe that's the price for them of being a volunteer. And for me, as an HR myself, when I got to meet with a lot of people during the interview, especially for the graduate or the fresh graduate, like now I feel like there's like a big shift that now youngsters really go into the volunteering things. And every time I saw those kind of profiles, to be honest, that really kind of inspires me. And I see like very potential generations we have now. And sometimes I feel like, wow, this person already done this, and where am I at the time, So it's kind of like hit and miss for me. But I'm happy that now that we have those kind of shifting, like the stigma within the youngster to do the volunteering. And I think one thing that I learned from them, like reading their profile and then get to know more about them, is something that we got from volunteering is also developing the soft skills. Because in the end, that's when you have a very room to kind of explore yourself in terms of volunteering, as Tim mentions, because it can start to do something that you really like, or the kind of like self-reflection for you, like self-discovery from volunteering. So I think I think that's also a good start for now the youngsters to kind of start the volunteering before having like maybe a really head job.
Thank you, Nurmala. Yeah, Jay?
Yeah, I think this is something that Tim and I would always have a chuckle about. Where do you get time for CAUSINDY in your life? And for me personally, honestly, it was challenging at times to fit that in. It was mostly, to give the audience, particularly younger audience who haven't volunteered yet, an idea of what the life would be. You generally go to work, and then once you come home, you would do an hour or two of CAUSINDY. Most, some nights, majority of nights at particular stages, and then also on the weekend commit, one kind of big chunk of a day as well. So obviously there's different things that you could be spending your time on, and the majority of people don't volunteer. So particularly maybe just for my friendship group in particular in Australia, and seeing what they do on weekends because they don't have these type of commitments, it's really contrasting, the people that commit their time to volunteering versus those that don't. So it all comes back to the why, and the why drives you to work after work on volunteering, or work on the weekends on volunteering when you could be doing other things. And for me, the why, the great people that we're with all the time, that you're doing this together with a bunch of 20, 25 other people who all share your passion. And they, together as a unit, they get you through those times and make it fun along the way.
Wow, yeah. So but that's those three inputs of all of yours are contributing to a really good reasons why youngsters, leaders, or what you would call it, the young professionals should be volunteering at CAUSINDY, I guess. So I completely agree with what Tim said, that you have to like the idea of volunteering, what the content, so the substance of the type of volunteering that you are volunteering about. In this case, is the Australia-Indonesia space. I also find a little bit something that is more specific with regards to personally, like it exercises my the kind of quote unquote weakness that I personally have with regards to public speaking. So as well as being creative, because naturally if we are working in such a structured organization in our daily lives, there are there are structures, there are ethics, there are all of those things that inhibit us to exert our utmost creativity. So I think that becoming part of CAUSINDY, and then feeling into the position that you really have passion about, I think that it's going to be making a volunteering experience be more fulfilling, I guess. Yeah. We're going to be moving ahead and specifically, touched on CAUSINDY itself. We were discussing it a lot about volunteering in general. Yeah. So there is some distinction with regards to the type of volunteering in CAUSINDY, because I think that in general, if we're discussing about the term volunteering, it usually refers to a bunch of people like feeding the homeless, or like any other very grassroots type of thing of volunteering, like for example bersihkan pantai, all of those things, like cleaning the beaches from from garbage or from trashes and everything. CAUSINDY have a quote unquote a little bit of a sophistication part of it, I guess, because it is not something like automatically tangible into addressing something or addressing a problem, I guess. So how do you guys reckon that that particular heart of CAUSINDY becoming a selling point, that yes, hey, volunteer with us because we have a good cause? It's really big question, yeah. I'm sorry at that.
It gets me thinking.
Yeah, because I've wondered about that for so long, right? Because we're not doing the kind of usual kind of volunteering. We're volunteering to something that is so big about Australia, Indonesia youth activity, right? So
I guess it's just. I guess one way of thinking about it is that the payoff is a little bit later. Like, we do spend, it's a long time and a lot of work leading up to the conference. And this is a terrible pitch for people who are considering volunteering with CAUSINDY, but it is the way that it is. It is a lot of work in the lead up when you're, making all of the plans and starting to slowly execute. But I think anybody who has been around for the 3 or 4 days when the event is actually happening is that is a pretty big payoff. Once you're actually there and everybody gets together and you start to meet the delegates are meeting each other for the first time, and a lot of the time team members are meeting each other for the first time after 6 months of Zoom calls. And CAUSINDY was all across basically every video conferencing platform years before COVID-19 was a thing. That's pretty awesome. And I think, there's definitely highlights throughout the year, and especially with events like these where every couple of months there's a CAUSINDY thing happening, you've got more and more stuff to look forward to. But yes, it is a lot of work. But it's also a lot of fun when you're actually when it's happening.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you're touching base on something that is more practical, yeah, Tim. So I mean, I know that we know that CAUSINDY's main objective is quite broad, and then something practical, which means that when conference happen, that's when we know that everything is real, right? Because we know we meet people, we network with the people that from cross country, and then as well as the people who are we don't see in daily lives. So I think that that's the main part of CAUSINDY in the past, pre-COVID, right? So any other inputs from Mala and Jay?
I can go. For me, I think in terms of volunteering with CAUSINDY, I think it really aligns for myself. It really aligns for my personal and professional interests. Like as I mentioned, that I in works, I really would like to be involved in international relations, but that is something that I couldn't do in my work, right? So with volunteering with the CAUSINDY, that is something that I get to fulfill my personal interest, and I can say that I really learned a lot about the connections between Australia and Indonesia, and that is something that I can only get from the CAUSINDY. It's not something that it's just like a theory, but through all the friendship within the Squadindy, within the alumni, I can feel really like the strong relations between the countries. And I think I also reckon what Tim shared, that like volunteering is sometimes cost you like so much effort, so much time, but when we do it like with CAUSINDY, I think it's also fun times. Like, who would have thought that like in a conference, like a very serious conference, after like a business, I think at that time it was a business session, and then after that we have like a karaoke until midnight. So and sometimes that it really helps the networks, that you could meet with people not only from the conference, like a very very serious environment, from session after sessions, but you go to chat like in the karaoke thing. So I think that's true. Like volunteering harder, but we also have fun, a good times harder. So that's my experiences volunteering with CAUSINDY.
Just to build on that as well, I agree with what Tim and Marla have said, and the point around doing something that you're passionate about. Not everyone, is as passionate about those grassroots type of things, like you mentioned, Rio, the planting the tree or picking up rubbish on the beach. They're all fantastic things, but some causes are close to people's hearts than others for different reasons. And CAUSINDY actually, like Marla was saying, it gets you to contribute to international relations, to bringing people closer together, that affects all the way from government all the way down to people-to-people connections, which I think is is a rare opportunity to get in a volunteer organization. Usually it's NGOs that are funded, they have paid people that do this type of thing, or it's the government that run these programs. And I think the second thing is, one of the key differences that I was looking at when you posed that question, Rio, of doing the volunteering in the soup kitchen versus what we do, is probably the skill sets that you want to exercise. So a lot of people in our team, so talented, from communications, like what we're doing now, all the way to stakeholder management, so many things. And it's having another channel to utilize those skill sets and to further develop them. That's what CAUSINDY can provide for the people that volunteer for CAUSINDY, which again is quite rare in a volunteer setting.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you so much for you guys' inputs. So right now, because we're having the three of you guys, the people who have provided quote unquote service to CAUSINDY in the past, just want to exercise a little bit of reflection at the moment right now. Looking back, what are the values of being part of CAUSINDY that contributed to where you are now? Because I think that that is the current Squadindy members are not in the post CAUSINDY era of their lives, right? They're still in the moment, but you guys have already passed it, and I just want to know that what the reflection that you have right now that is contributing to your career. Like, for example, are you more how to say it? Maybe more on time now, or more organized, or anything, or like you manage stakeholders a little bit better now, or that you see I don't know, it's just like this is a very very niche and depending upon your guys' experiences. So yeah, may start, please. Thank you.
I'll contribute first. So it's a great question, Rio. I think for me, thinking about it from what did I learn from volunteering that I still apply today, there would be tens of things, but maybe the number one is how to lead teams, large teams. And at CAUSINDY, we have it changes each year, but maybe 5-6 teams within the organization. that the CEO needs to lead. And then within that, there's a leader of each team. So it's probably around project management and organization. They're skills that definitely I improved from my CAUSINDY days and things that I still use today, and I think have put me in a preferable position today because of that. The second thing, I think it's working with a diverse group of people. And from an Australian context, Australia is, I think, becoming more and more multicultural, as the years go on, which is fantastic. But from where I worked, I didn't work with many people from other countries. If they were from a background of Asian descent or something, then they were usually born in Australia, so they were acclimatized, they were already adapted to the Australian culture. And I didn't really work with anyone other than some of those from the UK, particularly from Asian backgrounds born in Asia. And this was a great opportunity to do that, because ways of working are very, very different. How you talk at a meeting, how you communicate, how you deliver messages, everything is very different. And particularly Australia, Indonesia are almost on opposite ends of the spectrum. And these are things that I've been reminded of since coming to Jakarta and working here. So those learning how to work with people of Indonesian culture and many other cultures has helped me a lot today when I've come here, from a respect point of view, from an understanding different perspectives point of view.
It's really great being out there too. Jay. Wow. Yeah. So Tim and Mala. Yeah, please
I can start.
Yeah, you can start too.
I kind of actually want to pick up on Jay's point. Like I mentioned earlier that there's lots of things that I've learned from my time on the team at all kinds of different points that I draw on every day. But I think that intercultural, because Australia and Indonesia are really different countries, and that in learning to work with people from different backgrounds and to be a bit more empathetic and understanding of differences in the way that people communicate and all that kind of stuff has been super valuable. I think it's also it's in a sense, it's an opportunity to make yourself a bit uncomfortable and throw yourself into the deep end a bit. You can try out things that you might not have otherwise. You can, find yourself in situations and responding to things that you might not have expected. And that might be stressful, but it's also a really good thing and you learn a lot from it. And I think it's I reflect back on a lot of the, decisions and situations and things that we responded to and the way that I did that. And I think even if it wasn't perfect at the time, it was a great learning experience. And that's the kind of thing that helps you grow as a person.
Yeah, that's a really important point to raise, I guess, Tim. And also it's related as well with regards to COVID-19 as well, and how CAUSINDY really adjusted and adapted to it, right? Because as we know, CAUSINDY is a conference-based type of organization. Like for the past so many years, CAUSINDY has been, that's the main focus of CAUSINDY. But we managed to to pivot all of our activities and to quote unquote and I guess concentrating upon the members, the Squadindy members, like this year's or during COVID, because that's something that is not necessarily being put in the spotlight during the conference because of the fact that running a conference is such a really gigantic work among itself. And so at this COVID era, I guess that we're just leveraging more the strength of our team, right? As part of the Squadindy, which the three of you guys have been part of CAUSINDY in the beginning of COVID era. Yeah, Mala, your input. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think for myself, the thing that I'm still doing, thanks to CAUSINDY, I would say, that also helps me to kind of bring out my personality. I would say that it helps in terms of the communications, because I think beyond the realm of the Squadindy, like the CAUSINDY itself, when we get to meet a lot of people, even in the conference or even during the social events that the CAUSINDY has, that it really helps me to kind of bring like confidence to get to know more with new people and then engaging with them, because to be honest, like initially it was not something that I usually do, but by working with the CAUSINDY, it helps me opportunity like to meet with a lot of people, engaging with them. So somehow it does helps my communication skills, or like the communications, or even engaging in the social events. And I think that is really helps to kind of like break myself out of the shell of to really nurture my shy personality. So that's what I had taken from CAUSINDY that really helps me in terms of helping myself.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Just being part of a volunteering team, I guess that is also have an objective of it in the organization, but also there is a personal commitment as well with regards to how important for us the spirit of volunteering is. So I think that we are we have been speaking for a long time, and then it is a really great values and insights that we have gained from you guys, the people who have been part of Squadindy before, and then we're so much enlightened by you guys' experiences. So I think that just to close a little bit, I just want to ask one specific question to maybe a little bit juggling of your memory. I just want to ask you guys that what was specifically what was your most memorable moment being part of Squadindy. What I mean, the most memorable moment was I don't know, maybe that I'm saying it to you right now from myself, is that when we had karaoke, of course, in Makassar as well, that was really an amazing experience for me.
I was about to say that.
Yes, do not copy me, so you have to pick something else, right? So this is already being occupied with that particular example, because that was like about 30 people in one room, and then it's just like a massive earthquake, I guess, at that time, because people just just singing uncontrollably, and then there's so many of us, and it was really a great experience. So that's from my side. So I mean, to the floor, please.
If you say about the karaoke in Makassar, can I say the karaoke in Melbourne? It's different. No, I think okay. So no, just kidding. It's karaoke, one of the memorable things. I agree with you, but since I cannot copy, so I think I can share one memorable thing for me. It's back in Makassar in 2018. So I remember it was this Squadindy events, when after the conference we went to the island in the Samalona. So we went really after the night, and I think we kind of like stranded because at the time our boat was not coming, so we need to wait. So I was just like, oh, that's a new experiences, like stranded with, I don't know, like 20 other people, guys, like after like celebrations. And then after that, we finally make it back to the town. So I think that's, for me, it really warms, for myself, because that's again I highlight that that's the definitions of you volunteer hard, you volunteer seriously, but you also have more fun times with the team. So that's really for me, it's not like strengthened in a good way with the teams, and yeah, that's one of the memorable thing for me.
That's really good input, Mala. So I mean, like participating in CAUSINDY as well is giving you a little bit of a sense of how is it to be participating in a survivor competition, I guess. Yeah. So go ahead with Jay. Your favorite move.
Yeah, so many great memories flashing through my brain after all of those comments from everyone. There's two for me. One is when reflecting on my year as CEO, once we completed a conference, and that was the one in Makassar. It sounds a little bit self-centered, doesn't it? But I think, all the conferences are so important, but when you're the one that's responsible for all the issues that happen, when you have to answer to the stakeholders, when it's really your head, there's a bit more pressure on there. So once you do pull it off, it's a bit of a sigh of relief, and most importantly, wow, just so proud of the team. Like we did that. 6+ months of work, and we did that. But then the second thing is, let's talk also about CAUSINDY post-COVID or during COVID, was when I started seeing all of the pathways, mentee and mentor photos coming in. There were so many of them, and posted without actually us asking them to post, in many instances on LinkedIn, where we would have the mentee and the mentor the mentor would introduce the mentee to a contact of theirs who happens to be in that dream job that they want to get to, and introducing them to people where, or maybe not even person, but actually building their skill sets in something that's very important to that mentee's heart. There was 5+ posts about this, and to me, that was very rewarding. It was the tangible benefit of what we had created through that part, and the great work that you did, Rio, in advising that entire first year of Pathways program. That was extremely rewarding.
Yeah, that was really a great chance as well, and a great opportunity for CAUSINDY. That's all a testament to how CAUSINDY can adapt well to the situations of COVID, right? And also for the fact that we are being trusted, quote unquote, by the Australian Indonesia Institute, that this particular program, the Pathways Mentoring Program in collaboration with AYA, is something that is worth pursuing, and then that is meant to be have a tangible meaning to the mentees as well as the mentors, to exercising their leadership skills, and as well as to get more inputs in how to jumpstart their career. So thank you for that, Jay. Of course, the Pak Mustache.
I think actually Jay is absolutely hit on one of the most powerful things is it's the whole point of an initiative like CAUSINDY is to build relationships between people, especially since 2013. It's been probably the highlight for me has been seeing what has come from those relationships, like whether it's just impromptu meetups to people getting married and having kids who may not have met through CAUSINDY but definitely got to know each other. Or projects like that Pathways project, which has just taken on a life of its own and become a huge thing. That's probably the biggest one. I mean, there are dozens. There was, I think, bringing CAUSINDY back to Melbourne was a personal highlight for me because I'm from Melbourne. I was terrified of public speaking, so successfully delivering a keynote speech, but then introducing myself as somebody else is both a highlight and a lowlight. Lots and lots of things.
Tim, I forgot, who did you introduce yourself as?
I introduced myself as Tim Watts, the member for Gellibrand.
That's right.
Alrighty. Oh wow. This light-hearted conversation is a really integral part of CAUSINDY. In addition, of course, the main objectives and all of the the casual work the usual work that we contribute as well as put forth with regards to our efforts to our objectives as an organization. So thank you very much for you guys' time. It is very insightful conversation today to highlight CAUSINDY as well as to highlight the spirit of volunteering as one of the main parts and one of the most integral parts of being part of Squadindy. So my main takeaway is that I guess that I can conclude that from the three of you that you would recommend to anyone within the Australian Indonesia space, as well as the young professionals as well as students to contribute in CAUSINDY or other Australia Indonesia bilateral youth organizations, so that you can exercise many aspects that really elevate your career, as well as the fulfilling to yourself personally. So I think that concludes with our with our Squadindy talk for the third episode. Do you guys have any closing statement from the three of you? Just a very quick one. Either no? Well,
I'll give one quick one.
Please do, Jay. Thank you.
So, my word of advice to many of the young people that are passionate about volunteering, passionate about any cause, is to start volunteering as early as you can, because as life goes on, you just get more and more responsibilities, and you therefore have more and more reasons to not do it, or maybe not able to do it. So take a leaf out of Tim Graham's book, being involved in Aya and CAUSINDY for so many years. I remember I started being involved with Aya when I was maybe 22 or something like that. Get involved early, start making friendships, and start contributing to society alongside building some great skills that will hold you in good stead for the rest of your life.
Thank you so much for that, Jay. Really great closing to our very insightful and meaningful talk today. So thank you for everyone, and thank you as well to Fika and Salus, who is monitoring us for this Squadindy talk, and looking over the logistics and administration part of it. So thank you so much, everyone, and see you guys again soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.